Welcome back to All Things Nerdy with Nate and Joe. I'm Nate. That's Joe. And today we are going to be finishing up. It was going to be last week, but this week, because last week was shorter, we're going to be finishing up our talk of book club, essentially Quicksilver, Brimstone, all the things. We're just going to get into it. We're just going to discuss it. There's no more chapter by chapter or nothing like that. We're just going to throw it all out there. Do we like it? Do we not like it? What did we not like about it? And I have some numbers. I sent them to Joe, but I have some numbers. All right. Yeah, I got some numbers to talk about the things that I didn't like, along with the things that I did like, right? But we're going to get into it. Joe.
So, without further ado, let's talk nerdy. But getting into this, so basically Nate had started on Brimstone. I had not. So last week was a lot of like, I have no idea, man. Like I don't know what to tell you. I haven't read it. So I read it last week. Finished it last night. So it did take me a week, Nate. It took me a week. It was like 600 something pages. But I mean, on it, like I did get what you were saying last week. They use the mate word a lot, especially in the first 70% of the book. I felt like I was like, all right, I see it. But I don't know, like maybe reading it is different than hearing it, because like it didn't necessarily like just make me not want to read the book for the plot, essentially. Like I definitely still enjoyed the book. Wish you had finished it so we could talk about how it ended and some of the stuff that happened later. But can you remind me like where you're at, so I don't give you any spoilers or anything like that?
Yeah, so she just got back to Ematreth, and she is making a deal with the thing that had a deal with Malcolm for years, right? And it's going to just watch her and be present in that little studio or the library or whatever it is, right? What is it? Volcrux or something like that?
The Horcrux or Harcrux or something like that.
Yeah, it sounds like a Harry Potter thing, but not a Harry Potter thing.
So what I imagined every time they talked about this character was in Baldur's Gate, the Mind Flayer. Like that's the image that popped into my head. I don't know why, but like every time that character appeared, like that's what image popped up in my head.
I never thought of that one time, but I mean, I could see that. In my mind, I thought of like a big rock thing. I don't know why, but like that's what I thought. But nonetheless, that's where I'm at, you know. And yes, Joe, they do use mate a lot.
Okay.
Specifically, they use it 180 times in this one book, which is once every 3 to 4 pages, right? Which doesn't sound like a lot, but within 10 pages, it's said 3 times. And when that's repeated throughout a 660 page book, that's a lot. And then you add on top of that maker that they say a fuck ton as well. Maybe less than mate. Not maybe, for sure less than mate. But you put maker and mate in there, and I think reading it is different because it's not emphasized the same way. Whereas like Saris and Fisher, when they say it audibly, right? My mate. My mate. Right? Like it's emphasized, it's pushed on you. It's like you're like, I get it, fam. Like you're your lover, you're significant other, right? What call them anything else. But just reading, you get to glance, you get to go to the next thing. But like they say it and pause, my mate. And they let you sit with it for a second. You're like, fuck me, come on. And when they do that 180 times, it's just too much.
That's so funny.
It's not.
So I guess that will. I mean, I could see like, especially if like they're putting super emphasis on it every time they say it and it's out loud and then they pause for dramatic effect. I can see how that could be aggravating. But I will say like from basically like slightly past where you're at on, I feel like they didn't use it quite as much. And I think you already in a text to me, you kind of alluded to it, like the maker thing kind of goes away. Like I don't think I saw that word again after
where I'm at, essentially.
Yeah, where you're at, basically, like maybe once or twice more. But like I will say, like I felt like the book built up to the moments basically right past where you're at. Like I felt like it actually got like before I was like reading it and I was like, I mean, this is a good book. Like I like it up until I got past like where she makes that deal you're talking about, and then it just continually gets better throughout the book. Now there are still things that I'm just like, what? Like, why is that? What is that? And then like that, so I was like, I need you to finish so we could talk about it because I liked it and I enjoyed it, but there's still some things I was like, really? Like,
So I'm enjoying it outside of my hyper fixation on mate. Like if I could just like I wish I could go into the audiobook and just be like, please skip over this word. Right. I think I would enjoy the book a lot more, but because of my personality and how I hyper fixate on things, it just does not enable me to enjoy every time I hear it, I do and it just takes me out of it for a few minutes. And by that time we're already getting to it again, you know. So it's a lot, but the book is fun. It is good. Carrion and Fisher going back and forth is hilarious. The Scorpion God was cool, or Mont Demon was cool, right? Like Carrion's hands being like glued down and him getting just destroyed by scorpions, and then like Fisher having to like hit the wall. Like there was a lot of really, really cool, fun things.
yeah.
But I don't know. There's just some things, and the mate thing being one. And then also, let me ask you, right? Why does Fisher not turn into a vampire?
Because they do share blood, and that is technically how you become a vampire.
Yeah,
I
and it's
guess it's
not a.
I guess it's a will thing, right? Like the Malcolm wanted to turn those people.
It
When they
doesn't.
talk,
That is not explained in the books at all.
it it is not explained at
It is
all. I
literally
do.
you share blood, you turn into a vampire, because they all have the vampire, like the recessive vampire genetics, right? That's why they have the canines and all that stuff. And it is basically that if you share blood, if a vampire was to share blood, you turn into a vampire. And Saris and Fisher share blood a lot. Every coitus scene, they share blood pretty much because it's euphoric, it's orgasmic, right? It's all those things to do that specifically. So why is Fisher not a vampire?
Have you got through the dreamscape part yet?
I did get through the dream where they both had the same dream and they were there and able to interact,
Yeah,
although they were separated. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and she even used her blood then to heal it.
Mm-hmm. The same way Taladeus did for her, which turned her into a vampire.
Uh, huh.
So I don't understand, Joe. I don't understand. Look, the book is good, but there are definitely some inconsistencies throughout the book. And Joe, you know how I am about this. It's why I can't do time
Yeah,
travel. When you establish rules, especially rules that don't have to be established, you don't have to talk about it, but they do. They choose to talk about it from Taladeus and all that. They write the rules and then openly break them. And I just it drives me crazy. It drives me crazy.
that. And now that you say it, like I didn't really think about it because like in those scenes, I don't like dwell on them. Like I read them, I'm like, Jesus Christ, that was disruptive and
They
bad
have
to me.
definitely got
Uh,
they have evolved. The book is Brimstone,
uh,
which is
yeah,
a second in a trilogy behind
yeah.
Quicksilver.
Quicksilver is the first book. Second book is Brimstone. The third book is not released yet. It's released like in November of this year, if I'm not mistaken. So if you read the first two and you want to read the third one, you will have to wait. But the scenes are super descriptive, but about like you're I mean, most likely you can explain it away, right? She's a hybrid. Maybe she can't create vampires, but they haven't talked about it at all. So not 100% sure because she was turned a vampire by Taladeus and then a fae by a god, right? So
Well, she was turned human by God because she was originally supposed to be a fae, but the God intervened and tried to keep her and
Yeah.
Fisher apart because of the rot of the tree, which we are now seeing in
Yeah.
Brimstone, right? So a God tried to keep her apart. She was supposed to be fae. He made her human, put her in a different world, but her and Fisher, who are God-bound, which is also said a fuck ton throughout the book, are mates, and they find themselves in every universe and everything that they play out that God has played out, which is also the God of chaos, which doesn't really track for the fact that he's trying to keep order and peace in the universe as the God of chaos.
He is still making chaos for all the other gods because he's basically going against what they want. They all want him to basically destroy and start over from a clean slate. And he's like, no, I'm going to change this, and we're going to implement this. So from that perspective, he is still the god of chaos.
Okay. But why do the people view him as the god of chaos if he's only creating chaos for the gods?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a god. I can't answer that.
This is what I'm saying, Joe. There's some inconsistencies that, because of how I am as a person, they just make it very, very difficult for me. Now, look, I know most people just read and breeze through and chill and all that, but it's the little things that just it drives me crazy.
And you got to think too, like the second book alone was 600 plus pages. Like I assume the first book was somewhere to that, I can't remember, but there's going to be inconsistencies. There's going to be little things.
Listen,
now the vampire thing is kind of strange.
like Joe, they could have made the book 658 pages versus 660 or whatever it was. You know how they could have done that? By not writing in the rules that they intended to break.
Or by taking out the word mate. I bet that would have dropped like 50 pages.
That would have dropped like 50. If you took out mate, maker, and godbound, and not godbound every time, because godbound is important and it helps explain the interaction with the god of chaos and the tree of rot and all that stuff. So
the tattoos that they have that interlink, like
which is awesome, right? Like I think that is so cool. I'm excited to see that in like live action. Like
that would be
the relics and all that. It's gonna be sick. It's gonna be so cool.
On the note of tattoo, it is like hilarious. Like basically almost every time they have sex, like they
Coitus.
get a new tattoo. Is that how you say it now?
Yeah.
Is that how we're gonna skirt around this word? Every time they are intimate, the new tattoo appear on one of them. So I was like, I need to see like a full body picture of like what they look like before and after of the tattoos, just to see like, all right, which ones did they get?
I think they've approved this series as a live action, so you will see all of it, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
But I mean, from a like, now I can't imagine like you listening to this like while you're like painting or something and you get to one of the intimate scenes, because like they are like Callie Hart
very descriptive,
knows how to be descriptive and knows how to talk through a scene. Now some of the words they use for certain parts made me laugh.
I can't talk about it on here, but we're gonna off screen talk about a couple of these. There's a couple where like me and my wife are listening to the book and it says something and I look at it and just start dying laughing.
Yeah, there are certain words that are used that I'm just like, that's what you call it. That's
that I can't use on here, you know.
Yeah, of all the words that you could have chosen, that's the one you went with. All right.
And she uses a couple weird ones consistently.
Yeah,
like I don't know if that's actually how she refers to them, right, or what, but to actively choose that, not once. Now I get like you don't want to be repetitive, you don't want to say the same thing over and over and over again, and when you sit there and talk about something, like there's only so much you can say, there's only so many words used to describe these things, but a couple of them she says a couple times, I'm like, that's a choice. She says it again, I'm like, that's a choice that's a real choice.
But I mean, the book, I will say, other than there are some inconsistencies, there are some like things that like in the end of the book that I'm like, what the heck? Like I like basically tropes and stuff like that. But I will say, like, as like a trilogy or whatever, so like from the first two books so far, like I did enjoy them. They are well written from the point like the story building, the character development, like the like I guess what they're going against, like that. I really enjoyed all of that. Um, but fantasy is kind of like my go-to when I do read a book. Smut fantasy is new to me, so but it's basically like it's basically what I typically read. Just added some spicy bits in there every now and
Spicy
then.
bits.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I guess what from your perspective, like, what do you think?
So for me, I just don't read a lot. I'm one of those people. But I've really enjoyed it. I thought the world building in book one was much better. I think the world building got a little lazy, in my opinion, where I'm at. Like, due to the inconsistencies, which I cannot believe were not caught by her, who was writing, the publishers, the editors. They read this. How did they not pick up on the inconsistencies and stuff of that nature? And so overall, really enjoyed it. I liked it. I'm excited about finishing Brimstone, mostly because I don't ever want to hear the word mate again in my life. But I'm hoping it really ties it together, brings it together, and sets us up well for book three. And I hope book three is not just a continuation of the same stuff. I'm really hoping it's building towards like something with the gods and all that stuff versus just more vampires, right? Like if we are still fucking with vampires at book three after book one and two.
Dude, I need you to finish this book so fast so we can talk about this. It's so funny. Just
It's gonna
because
be
they're going.
vampires again, isn't it? Oh my god, I hate this book so much. I know
No,
it's gonna be
no,
vampires.
it's not. Well, I don't know what book three is going to be about. It's not even released yet. But I would assume it's not vampires just based on how the book three goes out. But I don't want to give any spoilers.
Oh, I appreciate that.
But I
I'm
don't.
10
But I
hours out.
yeah, I don't want you to. I don't want to give any spoilers, but like some shit goes down, Nate, that I need you to read so we can talk about it, or listen to so
Okay.
we can talk about it. It definitely gets crazy at the end, and like, and I'm interested to see like how the third book's going to start out and what they're going to be dealing with, from like I guess a perspective of what's next, basically. I mean, the big three. Well, I guess two. Malcolm. They already killed Malcolm, didn't they? The other two are still there, right? Right. Like,
Madra's still there?
yeah, Madra and Belicon. Like those, I assume they're going to be big bads throughout the whole of the
See, I was
series or
I was really
whatever. But
hoping they would get rid of Madra this book.
they
So
haven't really. I mean, they haven't even talked to her like this book from like have they yet? Like, she's
no.
been kind of mentioned a few times, but I assume like something's going to happen with her. That kind of thing.
I think they'd have to remove her pretty quick because all of this is starting because of Madra in book two, right? So uh I assume that they will have to get rid of her fairly quickly in book three.
Yeah. So we shall see. Uh, but I guess from this is your first smut book foray. Like maybe the next. Would you read another one?
Would I read another? That's a great question.
Minus maybe not a Fey related, because if it's got Fey in it, that the mate word, just trust me. Look up act. I think I sent you the thing ACOTAR. Like the word mates used 480 plus times in that series. Ridiculous.
Over
Um,
the course of the whole series, which I hope is like 10 books.
I think it's like five.
Okay.
So that's still a
Almost a
lot.
hundred
I
a
mean,
book. Oh my
yeah,
god.
that and you gotta think probably the first book they're not mates yet. I haven't read this series, but probably the first book, maybe even book and a half, they're not going to be mates yet. It's going to be will they, won't they? Mates never going to be mentioned. So you take 1.5 books out, you got
That's a lot.
basically the same ratio.
Yeah, that's a
But
lot.
I would say I know you want to do Dungeon Crawler Crawl next week, so we're gonna start reading that one next. But um, maybe what is the one about dragons? I don't know why I'm blanking on it, but everyone calls him Shadow Daddy.
I know I'm familiar with
Iron
Shadow Daddy.
Iron Flame, is that? Yeah, Iron Flame. So that series, that would be a good one because it's also fantasy world building. It's got dragons and cool stuff in it and
Is that the
magic.
one where they have like metal magic? Steph has been talking to me about a metal magic one. I'm gonna read whatever books Steph is like, Nate, you should read this book next. Which I'm gonna read Dungeon Crawler Carl. There's several of them in Dungeon Crawler Carl. That's gonna keep me busy till the end of the year. Let's be honest. I don't fly through these things. And then after Dungeon Crawler Car, I would definitely check out another one. And at that point, hopefully I've reset from the whole mate thing. I'm not as jaded about it and stuff. So I wouldn't even have to worry about that. And also, if I listen to a different audiobook, maybe the way they say it just irks me less. I don't know.
Yeah, different narrators can potentially narrate it differently, but I, I I don't remember the Iron Flame using the word like mate because they're not like they're human, they're not fae or any kind of like other than like talking about some of the dragons that are mated pairs, but that's kind of like
That's expected, yeah.
yeah, like that's you need to know that like it's part of like explaining that they're mated and that they can't be separated, that kind of things from a dragon perspective, but yeah, from like the actual people. Now there are other words used that they describe to each other that would probably irk you just as much. but I guess we have to get through Dungeon Crawler Carl to see what you read next. But I think the main point of that question was like, would you read another smut book?
Yes, I would. I've actually really enjoyed this one, even for my problems with it. I think it's really good. I'm excited for the live action. I'm glad I read it. My wife and I talk about it. It gives us something to do together, right? It's a good time. Yeah. So I'll read the next one that she's reading as well. Probably I'll listen to it. I won't read it. I'll listen with my ears. But yeah, of course. I definitely will. I've enjoyed it. The world building is great. I actually really enjoy the fantasy aspect of it. Like if I wanted to hear about human shit, I'd watch the news. So I like magic. I like fantasy. I like all that stuff. And I think it adds a fun, cool element to all of it. So
yeah. I'm with you. I've read a few, and I think I'll continue to read these types of books. But I will say, like, I don't think I would like smut for the purpose of just like being like just a smut book that's just smut without a fantasy type magical storyline to go along with it.
That's called
well, there are those books, Nate. Like, there are just smut books that don't necessarily have the story building quite like Quicksilver and Brimstone and those.
Steph has told me about some books that are like real far out there, that are crazy, that are spice on spice for the sake of spice. Yeah,
so I don't think I would read that type of book or go for that, but if you're like, hey, there's this fantasy book that is just considered a smut book, I'd be like, send it my way, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll listen to it, don't you worry.
Now, is there anything else? Brandon McCroy, my major lawyer fantasy. Look, he used it in a different way though.
Yeah, he did. My mate isn't like a bro. What up, bro? We appreciate you popping in as usual.
That is hilarious. So I love how our audience, like, their main goal is to troll you, and it's like it's so great.
I don't even understand why. I don't know why they're like, let's target this guy, but they do every time. Every time. I just make it easy. And then I just roll with the punches, like I'm not in here getting salty or upset. I'm like, that was a good one. I respect it. You're an ass, but I respect it.
Unless you completely disagree, like Die Hard is a Christmas movie, or Batman is not the coolest superhero, or something like that.
Batman is the best hero, and Die Hard, where based around Christmas, is not a Christmas movie. Facts. And I used to be on the other side of the fence on that one, but then like when we started talking about it, I convinced myself otherwise, and I only did that just so we had conversation back and forth versus an agreement. And then as I was talking, I was like, this makes sense.
Yeah, this makes sense. Oh, is there? I know we're coming up close to time. Is there any other aspects of like Quicksilver, Brimstone, or
Yeah, carrying.
fantasy?
I
Dude,
think Quicksilver and Brimstone suffer from what is it? The whatever effect where the side character is the best character. The side character completely overshadows Fisher and Saris. Carrion, in my opinion, to where I'm at right now, carries the book. He is awesome in Quicksilver. Although he's not in Quicksilver as much, he is awesome in Brimstone. Every time Carrion has something in the book, I'm excited. It is my favorite part. If they were to do a spinoff of just Carrion, it would be great. Also, Joe, I want to talk about this real
I mean,
quick.
they could because I mean, he lived for 1,000 years in Zilverin, and
Yeah, so
like
that's an issue that I have, Joe. So he lived in this one small part, the third ward, right, for 1,000 years. Now they defended him or like tried to keep him, hidden away the best he could and everything. But 1,000 years, people talk about Madra living forever. Why? Who Carrion is also a public figure in the third ward. Everybody knows him. Everybody knows about him. Knows of him. He's like 6'8", which is small, oddly enough, or like average size,
per
which
se,
for Fae, yeah, but for humans, massive,
yes,
right? So how does this 6'8", 1,000-year-old dude, how does he go under the radar, although he's widely known? It makes no sense. It does not
especially
track.
how like what is the word, like how Madra is, like where she's always like thinking someone's out to get her, like that kind of thing. Like paranoid, how paranoid Madra is. You're telling me she didn't notice a 6'7" dude walking around for 1,000 years? Like
1,000
even
years. We're
I
talking
mean,
10 generations of families, bro, where
but again,
he
like
is known.
like they could have, hid him away for 100 years where he didn't
Okay,
go to the surface.
900 years,
But
Joe.
well,
6'7", 900 years of a prominent figure in the third ward,
yeah,
right? Like,
it doesn't explain it at
it
all. Like
doesn't at
how
all.
he's like, we know he had the Swift family that took care of him, through the generations and that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool. But like it really does, like that was one thing that I wondered too, is like how did uh, she not note it? Like she's so paranoid and talks about elves and like she knows what they look like, and even though he was glamored and like his magic was tempered and that kind of
Yeah,
stuff, like
a
he's still
1,000 years.
6'7".
Yeah, bro. You give me you give somebody, let them live for 1,000 years, right? They're gonna know. Like when everyone else is dying off and you look the same age for 600 years, bro. How do you not age, right? You ask them that at 30, because like at 30, I look like the damn crypt keeper. I got one foot in the door of death, right? So, and then at 50, when I am the crypt keeper and I'm looking at this dude who is not 8, how do you do it? Coconut oil, right?
Coconut oil.
Right. And then I get 70 and he's still looking 30. And then, like, on my deathbed, I realize that my child looks 40 and there's Carrion still looking 30. Right. It's impossible. It is one of the
Yeah.
worst parts of this. And the thing is, they could have just simply said he aged different because he was in Avelia.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
they could have, but no, they threw it out there and was like,
Now
yeah, believe it.
they did say in one part that because they were talking about his age and how old he was when they were like, you can't be the king, like, because I'm such and such years old, and they did say that like he was basically like had a chat with the gods when he was young. He didn't remember it, but like, and time passes differently there. So there was a period of a couple 100 years where he was not, like he was frozen in time or whatever because he was talking with the gods, and he wasn't in either place. So there's some of that is they did, I guess,
It
kind of
doesn't matter.
mention,
It doesn't
but
matter, Joe.
that's 200 years of 1,000 years. Like he still lived 1,000 years in Zilverin or whatever, versus
So
even
far.
though like he is technically was somewhere else for a couple hundred, so he should be older than he is, but he's 1,000 instead of 1,200 or something like
Yeah.
that.
But those little things matter, especially when, like, well, why is he becoming vampire? How did Carrion do that? It's just some little inconsistencies that I'm like, did you?
Well, she
Dude,
put
I don't want to say it.
she put more focus on wet folds than those inconsistencies.
Oh my gosh. Yep.
But
I was not going to say that. I was avoiding that at all costs.
well, it's completely out of context, so it's fine. Um, but yeah, but I would be totally game for a side spin-off of about Carry
So,
On explaining all of this and what he got up to for those 1,000
yeah,
years.
I don't even think he needs to explain it. Just give me Side Quest of Carrion. Literally name the book Side Quest of Carrion. I would read that. I would read that in a heartbeat. I'd look forward to that more than I'm looking forward to the third book of the series.
But like,
Carrion,
how does he own a bank? Like, or didn't yeah, or yeah, he's like, I own this with my business partner, and that kind of stuff. So
right? But people doesn't know he's been alive for 1,000. It's just it makes no sense. That is a poor aspect of world building from her world building. Like a lot of it is good, but there are some things that are just not good. Also, McCroy put another one in there. I want to agree with him. Hermione did carry Harry Potter. Without Hermione, Harry Potter would have died forever ago. Harry Potter is the weakest of all of the people in Harry Potter, right? Hermione was a beast.
yeah, agreed. But I will say, like, Carrion just gets even cooler in the book. So in the last part of the book, like, he just does stuff that will make you laugh, and make you be like, "What the heck?" Like he just continues to get better, even as a side character.
I'm excited for Kingfisher to have to refer to him as King. I don't know if it happens, but I hope it happens.
I mean, I would assume so. I mean, he's the rightful heir, right? Maybe by the end of the third book or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait, he calls him Your Highness now, right? Like, like
But as like,
sarcastically,
yeah.
he's like, Your Highness, and Karen's like, stop calling me that. But dude, I will say the part when they were in Silver and going to get the silver, that kind of stuff, and like he jumps up and grabs and then pulls up Ceres's brother, Hayden, and then Kingfisher's like, "You made me boost you and push you up. You're like basically your ass was in my face, but now you can suddenly jump and like do it yourself." And he's like, "Yeah, bro. Like if you treat me like a buffoon, I'm gonna act like a buffoon." I was like, "Bro," I was like, "What a burn!" I was
Yeah.
like, "That's hilarious."
Bro, Carrion is their interaction together is so good. And also, how is Sarah so incredible? How are all the people so great? And then Hayden just sucks. He's just
Dude,
whiny and he sucks.
that's
Like,
what I was thinking the whole book. I was like, well, how is like this is just like Hayden's the worst character in this entire book. Like
yeah,
he's
he has
completely
no
useless.
redeeming qualities whatsoever that I've seen so far. Maybe it changes some in the book, but I guess not based off your response. But like, dude, how is Sarah such a badass? All this stuff. Her brother comes in and he's just whiny, just
Yeah,
annoying. He is the worst character, and like he shouldn't be. They make him a dependent little baby. Like there's no
yeah.
growth that I've seen.
And like, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about too. Was Hayden in general. Like once you finish the book, but I mean, yeah. But from the beginning, I was like, this is a really like awful character. Like
It reminds
maybe
me
we're
of
supposed to.
anime where they always throw in a whiny character for no reason. Like I started watching Daemons of the Realm or whatever, Dangy, whatever, just screamy, whiny. That's what Hayden makes me think of. Zenitsu. I'm
Well,
hoping he has the arc,
I was gonna
right?
say at least Zenitsu was at least like could fall asleep and contribute.
Yeah,
Like Hayden doesn't have that. Like he's basically like just a poor, defenseless human that is whiny and can't do anything.
yeah.
So it's like, yeah, is he gonna die real quick? Like, because he's either gonna die really fast or something drastic's gonna have to happen. But I mean, my first thought was like, turn that dude into a vampire. Like, give him some strength. Like, just
Something.
change. Like, give him something.
Yeah,
Like, but but again, maybe she can't turn people into vampires because apparently she can't turn Kingfisher into one.
yeah. I just don't understand that. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. But maybe, well, I was gonna say maybe it's because not at the same time, but yeah, they do it at the same time.
Same time. Yeah. I mean, they do everything that is described to turn a person, to turn them. They just don't ever turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I'm excited for book 3. I'm excited to finish Brimstone. Hopefully, book 3 has less mate. If book 3 has the same amount of mates, I might, start reading it versus listening to it. I don't know. But some updates for everybody. We are going to have an anime panel podcast coming up in a couple weeks. We're going to discuss Freerin, JJK. We're going to discuss
Sentenced to be a Hero.
Sentenced to be a Hero, which if you are caught up,
Devil's
really good.
Hell's Paradise.
Hell's Paradise. Yep, which has some awkward smut moments.
I think that's it, right? But
yeah,
could talk about some more other stuff. Those panels last between 1 and 3 hours, so you never know.
Yeah, they last forever. And then me and Joe, we're gonna have a different topic next week. I don't know exactly what it is. Maybe it's D&D. I'm dungeon mastering right now, and we are in a good spot, and it's a lot of fun, and have been up to a lot of shenanigans. So maybe we talk about that. Maybe you and I just talk about some anime on the side. Who knows?
Maybe we can both talk about anime for a long time, so it don't really matter. But
yeah, we could.
Awesome, man. Well, you guys have a great rest of your week. See y'all next week. And if you have a topic you'd like us to discuss,
feel free to throw it out there. Yeah, we'd love to hear it. Love to see it.
And if you want to be a guest and come on and talk about something you love,
we're open to it.
Let us know. Let us know. Come on and talk about anything.
Caveat: we will not discuss Batman and Superman again. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Fair enough. All right, you guys have a good week.